And then we've got one more that's going to be right at the edge of the collar here. A little bit shorter. And from underneath that collar, we'll have the chest, that little bit of yellow that's poking in between the colors. Coming right down to the middle of that forearm. It's force of habit. I was going to not use undo or erase, but my fingers acted quicker than my mind could stop it.
Practice.
Along the back, we've got this big yellow petal that touches the back of the arm and makes up that entire back portion of the shirt. So from this leaf, I'm going to come out, make a little point. From the back of the arm way down, almost at the elbow, coming out from there. I'm working both sides. If you find that your lines aren't going to connect, let me move this over so it doesn't. Let's say, uh-oh, my lines can't connect without looking funny. You can put a little overlapping line in here that just looks like part of the petal is wrinkling. And no big deal. And we've got this other little piece just poking out from underneath that big petal we just drew in the elbow. So from here I'll have a little curl. And a curl. We started with the hand, Stephanie, just with his pointing finger.
Thanks.
Right in the middle of the paper. And then from the bottom of the arm, we're going to make this line where the green stops. I'm just going to send a little bit of a line there, very lightly, very thin. And this is where your visualization comes into play. I'm going to switch colors just so I can show you what's happening here. We need the body that is underneath this petal to come all the way around and hook into there. So we're not going to draw this part that goes underneath the shirt, but we have to kind of visualize, well, if there's the shoulder connects to the back is going to come all the way around and connect back up to that line. So it takes a little bit of visualization. I work back and forth. Set up the two targets for myself, and you can see that the curve goes lower than that line that we made. It's going to droop down a bit. Don't make your lines that thick. This is me accidentally drawing too thick. And then to help sell this illusion of crouching down, we've got a couple of important wrinkles in here. There's one right here that kind of looks like a fish hook. There's two there, and then one there. So right by this little petal, I'm going to put in a little fish hook of a wrinkle. Oops, let me get it off the original picture there. A little fish hook there. Then a little further forward, two little marks. And then one more right underneath that arm there. And we're going to add on those butterfly wings that are coming right out of the collar. So up, one, up and out. Past. the back of the body a little bit. And we've got this double wing again. We have this lower shape here that makes that shape, and then the upper wing is skinnier in shape. From the middle of that leaf, making a big old trip down there. And then we have an even skinnier shape of that one in back. So I'm just going to poke it out here a little bit like a shark fin. Bring it all the way back down, skinnier, skinnier, skinnier until they bump into each other. Then from this curve that we made for the rear end and the back of the thigh, it's going to keep going until it reaches the knee. Now on hers, the knee is right underneath that pointing hand, but on ours it might not be, depending on how big we made our shapes. So again, you kind of have to rely more on the flow of your drawing, the proportions that you've made. You can see that the body here, let me get a blue, the length of the body from the shoulder to the back there is almost the same from the back to the knee. So you can take this first measurement from shoulder to the back and then use it pretty much equally for that same point at the back to the front. It may end up under the hand that's pointing, it might not. That sometimes gets adjusted as we draw. So mine, I think, ends up a little farther back than hers. My knee is going to be right there. Coming out of the hand, and we're going to go backwards. Real important is we want to try to get the elbows and the ankles in the same vertical line, if at all possible. If not, you just change the lower part of the leg to come out in front, and they'll just be sitting on their little rear end instead of crouching down like this. But if we can't get the ankle right underneath the elbow, it will look unbalanced, like they're going to fall over. So rather than doing that, if you can't get the ankle under the elbow, just have them sit on the ground, no big deal. I'm going to try and sketch my legs down here. Oops. Let's start down at the ankle, see how thin I want that ankle to be. That'll give me a target, and then I can work back and forth to get that leg in there. And then the foot is going to be fairly flat, just a little bit of a downward tilt. For the toes, I'm going to start with the pinky toe and just wrap it around. Let me close in on this. Starts a little pixely. Wrap it around. Wrap it around. And as you draw more and more toes, they're going to get skinnier and skinnier because they're getting more and more overlapped by the previous toe. So it shouldn't be this baby toe, and then the next toe, and then the next toe, and then the next toe, and then the biggest toe. It should be little toe, and that toe. Now it's going to get skinnier, skinnier, and even the big toe really covered up. Then that other foot is mostly covered up. We don't have another knee to draw. We don't have another thigh to draw, so that's our lucky day. We just have to draw the front of this ankle here. Another slope for the foot. Big toe this time is first. And then you might see maybe the bump of the second toe, and that's about it. Then we'll go ahead and draw this other hand that's counting the leaves, I think. So we're going to start with this thumb. I'm going to draw it larger over here so you can see what I'm doing without it getting too pixelated. We go up, then across. This is the large line, the medium line, and then the short line. Large, medium, small. And there's 3 angle changes. Then on the bottom, we're going to have one big curve for the thumb. We'll have a smaller curve for that middle part. And then we'll have a large line. So underneath, we're going medium, small, large. Get rid of those. That's the thumb, and the thumb is touching the ring finger. So the ring finger is going to be right underneath this thumb. I'm just going to draw where it's being overlapped. Oh, that's a tad thick. Just the tip, that's all we need. And then we're going to draw the tip of the little finger right next to it. You can even overlap it a little bit if you want. And it's this little finger that we're going to finish off first with that same small, medium, and then large for the back of the hand. Oops, got a little messy in there. Then that ring finger is just going to follow it around. We're just going to have another line here. It's going to tuck in. You want to put a little wrinkle by your baby finger to go curling around. You can have that little Y wrinkle that we do a lot. And then we have 2 fingers going outward as we're counting. So we're going to have one come right out of the middle of this ring finger here. Not going to be that long. Thinner at the tip is the best case scenario, but if you haven't got a sharp enough pencil, it might be difficult to do that. If you're having difficulty figuring out where to put the lines, look at the negative space. Sometimes we talk about this negative space, this piece of pizza right in between. That might help you with the spacing for that other finger. And that one's a little chubby. And I gotta put mine on my drawing, so I'm gonna shrink this down real quick. Oops, not that way. Stick it on my drawing. And then you just connect the wrist right back into the body. So then from the collar, take a look at this neck, not going up and down, almost going horizontal, the back of the neck. So from the collar here, I'm going to go out. And don't let this collar take your neck out in a weird direction. Remember, it can just be overlapping the neck, so I can have my chin just start right here by this leaf. And of course, turn your paper anytime it gets difficult to draw. If it's too hard to draw facing downward, go ahead and just rotate your paper around until it's vertical. It'll be a lot easier to see. So we've got this neck coming up this way. And that ring of hair goes all the way around. We've got that little ear poking out. We'll put an ear there. Just have the hair come all the way around. Past the chin. We like big hair on our fairies, so that's fine. I'm going to have a little nose stick out.
Hello?
Hello!
Hey, you made it!
Finally! I've been connecting to this, like, during this entire thing since 3. I've been trying to connect here. Have you seen me?
Yeah, repeatedly. We never heard from you until now, but we've seen you.
I've tried talking, I've tried sending messages, I've tried everything.
But you're here at last. Boy, that was not easy.
We all had trouble. We all had trouble, Michaela.
Every single one of us,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I was sending messages too. Betsy sent you a chat message. Did you get it?
No.
Oh, sorry about that. But we're here now. Yay.
Oh, that one hand is hard to make.
One is counting?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's a difficult one.
Yeah, okay, but I heard.
What's that?
Well, hey Betsy, I was messing around like on the phone, and like with my drawing apps.
Yeah.
And then recently I found a thing called MetaBang Paint.
Oh, I've heard. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I messed around with it on my phone, and it works perfectly fine. So far, the only thing I noticed that it doesn't do is it wants me to pay to make folders.
Weird.
Yeah, but other than that, it works perfectly fine.
Cool.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun messing with it on my phone. I think I might, try to download it on my computer and see what it's about.
Yeah.
So it's a drawing program?
Uh-huh.
Better than Fire Alpaca, do you think?
It seems like it has a lot more, like, brush options.
Aha.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, and it's free.
That's my favorite price.
Mm-hmm.
That hand counting, if it doesn't work out, it can become a rock, and your fairy can have showing, and the other hand is just being overlapped.
Okay.
So we've got a cool hat made up of some leaf shape. There's this main shape that goes right over the ear. Let me get a better color to show you. Get pink. Then, or purple. This main shape that goes right over the ear. A little bit of an upside down heart shape. And there's one more leaf in the back. Super skinny because of foreshortening. Then I'm going to jump over to the front because I want to make sure that this hat fits his head. So I'm going to have this leaf right in front come off of his bang and go up, skinny one. And whatever space I have left, that's where that last leaf is going to go in there. And it can overlap like crazy. And we'll have that yellow cone right in the middle. I'm going to try to avoid tangents, meaning I don't want to come straight off this leaf and just keep going. It'll look funny. I want to try to find a place in between these leaves to come up and go back down. So we got this great big rock that our fairy is sitting on. So right near the knee, I'm going to have a very light mark showing my rock. I'm going to go ahead and crop my paper down here. Edit, crop, yes, there we go. Stroke, no, I don't think I can. So my rock there, and kind of coming out on the other side. Lift my pencil, kind of trace where that rock would go behind my fairy and maybe come out on the other side by the wings. And we'll draw one of these lovely little yellow flowers. Let's zoom in and take a look at the shapes we're going for. It is quite pixelated, but let's try and highlight some here. So this petal coming toward us is going to be roughly a heart shape, sideways heart. Then we're going to have this little loop for that bottom one. On the top, we have a little bit like a candle flame or a wiggly raindrop.
Where are we putting that?
We're going to put it somewhere below the feet, like maybe right here.
Okay.
And right in the center, I'm going to put a little oval, a curve actually. And split that in half so that I can have one petal over here and one petal over here. I'm going to do that whole thing again on my actual drawing with my colored pencil, my brown color. So I start with a sideways heart. A little bit different than the first one, that's okay. Sideways heart, little loop. On the top, a wiggly raindrop. A curve for the center. Somewhere halfway in between that curve, a little line. And then I can fill in my other petals. And these flowers are connected to, I don't know what they're called, stems, I guess, creeping stems, vines, that have these little paired leaves on either side, super cute. So that's easy enough to draw. We just need a couple of lines going over this rock. We don't want to draw them straight like stripes. We want them to kind of curve and grow around this rock, getting narrower as they get to the bottom of the paper. And just have a little rachis come off that stem. Attach a leaf. And attach another leaf. Don't worry too much about your shapes. They're just little oval shapes or sometimes little heart-shaped leaves. That's up to you and your artist choices. We can have it go up and above the rock. Same thing with these big leaves in front that he's counting. We can make a nice big leaf shape right at his feet with that central vein. And right on the other side, we'll have another one. We'll have that stem. And another couple of leaves. I've got this one right here. Just a little bit smaller oval. Side. And maybe just a little bit of the third pair down there. And then we'll move on to color. I'm going to change my brush over to down here. This is pencil. And we're going to start with our yellow. And we'll go over to the wings first. And I just adjust my brush settings so it's a little bit more like a real pencil. Won't be exact, but we'll try. And we're going to do those butterfly veins we've done before, where we have a line that's going along the wing and then suddenly branches off. And those branches can branch, and those branches can branch. If you want to add a little bit of color here, there's a couple of brown spots on his wings, so I can take my pencil and just lightly fill in a little bit of brown here and there. And then I'll go over the whole thing, a lighter pressure with my yellow.
You use the same yellow you said?
Yep, same yellow, just lighter pressure. And I'll be doing the exact same thing to the top wings, starting out with those kind of branches. Oops, let's make my a little darker here. Branching off into different veins. Get my brown for a spot or two.
Why is both Betsy and Teen JLI logged in at the same time?
Yeah, that was part of our technical difficulties. So my laptop is refusing to do Zoom, or maybe Zoom is making it impossible for my laptop to access it. I don't know what's going on. But my other computer, my desktop computer, doesn't have a microphone. So I had to log in with my phone for sound and then log in with my desktop so that I can draw.
Huh.
So
It
yes,
worked.
logged in twice.
Yeah, so log in twice. That's why you can see my face, but I'm not looking at the camera because my phone is over here.
Ah.
Hopefully I'll get it fixed by Friday. We'll see.
Yeah. After this class is done, I might eat, but I also really want to try to install. I want to try and install the app I was telling you about.
Yeah, for sure. Most butterflies have more vibrant color on the top side of their wings than the bottom. So this top wing here is going to have a little bit more vibrant color. Press a little harder, or you can even mix in a little orange to make it darker. And for the yellow on the hat, are you guys still working on the wings? You guys can let me know.
I was working on toes.
Toad. Not in color, I hope. Well,
No, I didn't like their toes, and I like it less even more now.
That's what happens when you can't erase, huh?
I'm trying to erase.
I'm going to use my same chocolate brown, but I'm going to press more lightly and put in a little bit of shading on the hat here. Then I'll take that same yellow, go right over the top of the whole thing. And we'll do that same process on the clothing. I'm going to put in a little bit of shading here. Just kind of a little circle. A little bit on the front of the clothes too. There can be more shadow, so I'm going to put down some of my brown that I used for the lines. Lightly, lightly. Maybe underneath the arm there. Maybe underneath that leaf. Then I'll take that very same yellow and color right over the top.
That's the same yellow. That looks like a more of an orangey yellow.
I use the same yellow as the top wing.
Oh,
It might be a little bit here.
I missed that part. Sorry.
That's all right. You can use whatever yellow you got.
Now I have too many choices.
Ah,
Big box of color.
Ones, yeah.
use them all.
Okay.
For the green sections, you're either going to need a grass green and kind of a yellow green like this, or as we've mentioned in other classes, don't have that yellow green, you're going to put down a layer of yellow first and then use that one green that you have and it'll get a little bit lighter. I'm going to take my grass green and leaf on his hat. I'm just going to color in the left side right like that. The left side of this leaf. On the left side of all these leaves here. And if you have that kind of lime green, you're going to fill the rest in with lime green. If you don't, you're going to get your yellow and fill in the rest here and then go over it. I'm just going to repeat that process for the collar, putting the dark green first. And grabbing my lighter green, filling it in. And then for the clothing, we're going to help accentuate our wrinkles a little bit more. That fishhook one we made means that the fabric is going down, it's recessing. So that gets colored in dark. The next pair of lines also represent the fabric recessing, so those get dark. That means the bit in the middle is rounding up. So
Is that part of his shirt in between the two greens there, right by his elbow?
Oh, that's a yellow petal that I missed. Thank you.
Okay.
That is supposed to be yellow.
Okay. Fine.
Put in some shading first. Grab our yellow. Nope, not that yellow. The other yellow. There we go. And then I'm going to make another hook shape, but I'm just going to do it with my dark green this time. Not actually a hook shape, kind of an oval. Just going to color that in. And then up by our mark, I'll color that in with my shadow green. That means everything in between is rounding upward and needs our lighter green. Then when we get to areas that are naturally turning away from the light, like the back of the thigh, this part will be a little bit darker green, just from turning away from the sunlight. And the part at the top that's being covered by the yellow petal shirt, going to have some darkness up there too. And if you feel like your colors are too separated, the yellow is too yellow, the green is too green, you can take your brown or you can take your green and start layering and mixing in some of these colors. So I can add a little more brown down here where it's dark. I can add some little lime green maybe on the edge of a petal. By mixing your colors, you'll help them mingle, get to know each other. Looks like they all belong on one drawing. So remember when you were a kid and they told you have to color in lines? They were lying.
Knew it.
We want green to bleed a little bit in the yellow. We want our yellow to bleed a little bit into the green. Create some harmony. The hair is mostly going to be in shadow, so we're not going to worry too much about that flicking from the tips and flicking from the top. I'm just going to color it in with a little bit lighter stroke. Maybe add in a little yellow or a little green just to have those colors mixed. And then for the skin tone, I'm going to get either a kind of a salmon pink or an orange, or very, very lightly with a red, and I'm going to add some color to the cheeks and the nose, ears, the digits, meaning fingers and toes, and all the major joints. So that would be the elbow, the knees, ankles, a little on the wrist if you want to, a little on the shoulders. Real subtle. We don't want to look like our fairy got beat up. We're just kind of putting in a little more flush where the blood is just closer to the skin, I guess. Because even when I look at my own hands, my fingertips are definitely pinker than my palm, and I'm not exactly sure why. I just know that's a thing.
A good thing. Blue is not a good color there.
Okay, blue is a good color. I'm going to get my peachier tone and color over the whole thing. So even over my red parts, especially over my red parts. Bring that color down a little bit. We have about 20 minutes left. I think we can color this rock and leaves and things. So I'm going to get that same chocolate brown that I used for the lines. And I'm going to color this bottom portion of the rock right here. It's a little browner than the top. I'm just going to lightly give myself a layer. Maybe not that lightly, a little darker. Of brown on my rock. You can go around your leaves, or if you think they might be in shadow, you can go right over the top. Go right over the top of this one.
The whole rock?
No, just the bottom section here.
Okay.
In brown, and then we're going to get our yellow so that we have our harmonizing colors. And I'm going to put the yellow kind of below my fairy in the middle here. Just give myself a layer. Again, you can color right over the top of the leaves, or you can dodge them, that's up to you. Maybe half an inch from the edge of the rock, I'm going to stop my yellow, and then I'm going to pick up my gray. And start filling in the rest. I'm going to go right over the top of the yellow, right over the top of the brown. Might want to use the side of your pencil. It'll make quicker work of it, and it also gives a little bit rougher texture. And since we're making a rock, that's cool. If we were trying to do smooth skin, probably not the texture that you'd want. But since rocks are rough anyway, just putting your pencil on its side will make it like a big brush that can cover large areas way more easily than a tiny tip. In the original picture, she uses pretty much the same gray to make kind of that sky. But if you'd rather use blue, go for it. It's your drawing, you do what you want. And the leaves are going to be more of the same, putting down your dark green and some patches. Filling it in with the lighter green.